Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present an article prepared for the Asian Business and Management Conference titled Human Resource Management Practices in Japanese and American Companies Located in Poland. Despite numerous research on the cultural influence, the little of them investigates how home country culture influence on politics and practices in foreign subsidiaries. Moreover, more of them are concentrated on foreign enterprises in Western Europe, in the United States or in Asian countries. Very little research has been done on extent to which home country practices have been implemented in Eastern European countries, especially in Poland. The current research have attempted to fill this gap by researching the extent to which the home country culture influences human resource management in foreign subsidiaries located in Poland. The main purpose of the current study is to investigate the relationship between home country culture and practices of human resource management in subsidiaries of Japanese and American companies operated in Poland. This paper presents a comparative study of the effects of national origin on practices in chosen areas of human resource management. In order to investigate the transfer origin-based practices to Poland, first the differences in chosen areas of human resource management in Japanese and American enterprises were examined. Next, the relevance of these practices in research companies were analyzed to identify how closely they resemble the practices used in the home country. The examination was divided into three human resource management areas: development policies and practices, remuneration systems, and workplace employee relations. Although the above list categories not capture all human resource management practices, they do represent some of the major areas in which exist the biggest differences between American and Japanese human resource management. During my presentation, I would like to mention only about few of differences in human resource management between both groups of enterprises. The full description could be found in the article included in conference paper. A key question for research was the extent to which, in the subsidiaries of American and Japanese companies operating in Poland, human resource management practices are determined by the home country culture. To achieve this aim, the case study research was used because this approach is better than exploring complex qualitative relationship than solely using a survey. The research was conducted in 6 companies operating in Poland, 3 from the US and 3 from Japan. The methodology is based on case study relying on multiple sources of data such as semi-structured interviews, documentation analysis, and questionnaire surveys. First, data was collected during semi-structured personal interviews, mainly with the human resource managers or professionals and CAOs or other top executives. At minimum, 1 person was interviewed in each company. Each interview lasted between 1.5 and 2.5 hours. When possible, the interviews were recorded for later revision and reanalyzing. Qualitative analysis of the interviews data focus on the identifying major current human resource management practices, how they depend on parent companies, and to which extent they are determined by home country national culture. The research also supplemented by documentation analysis. The chief data sources were both the internal documents such as labor regulation, documents used in appraisal system, organizational charts, as well as public information about money, for example corporate websites, leaflets or some folders. Additionally, to examine how employees perceive human resource management practices, in the research enterprises, the questionnaires, including question, concern, chosen practice in human resource management, was conducted. In survey research participated 344 employees. 291 from them was employed in the US companies and 53 in the Japanese. The survey research was conducted in all groups of employees: administrational and productive workers and managers. First, the employees were asked to evaluate on a 5-point Likert scale how each sentence is in accordance with the situation in their company, where 1 means not at all and 5 totally in accordance. The question in this part of survey were related to the degree of hierarchy, the level of internal competition between employees, and the focus on collective rather than individual work. The obtained results are presented on the slide. Next, the employees were asked to evaluate the opportunity to get some rewards, also on a 5-point scale, where 1 means never and 5 very likely. The question concerned both staff development, remuneration components, and the participation in decision making. The obtained results are presented on the slide. Next, using the result of survey research and this obtained during interviews and documentation analysis, the human resource management practices in research Japanese and American companies were compared. First, the main difference between both groups of companies was importance and position of human resource. In subsidiaries from the US, the significance of this resource was highlighted by inclusion the statement about importance of employees in business strategy and importance of human resource management bodies. In 2 of 3 research American companies, human resource managers took part in important meetings considering strategic plans. In all American enterprises, human resource management areas was very highly formalized. There are the procedures and regulation concerning the compensations, employees development, or appraisal systems. In contrast, Japanese enterprises didn't hire human resource managers or even specialists. This area of management was treated as less important comparing, for example, production management or quality management. Also, formal regulation in different areas of human resource management didn't exist. Also, human resource management in chosen areas was compared, and the result of the comparison will be presented on the next slides. The differences in training and development between companies were analyzed in 4 aspects and concerned the internal recruitment and career path, training opportunities, contents of the training and development, efficiency evaluation. The analysis of investment in people placed the US companies on a leading position. All the companies from the US recognized the importance of employee training and development as the source of competitive advantage and the way to meet the customers' expectations. In case of American companies, it could be connected with host country. American companies have very high, comparing to those from another countries, training expenditure. But also the Japanese enterprise focus on training mainly within the company, and employees are encouraged to upgrade their skills. But the result of research in Japanese subsidiaries located in Poland not confirmed the same approach. In consequence, in 2 of 3 research American companies was special programs of development for key employees. In all of them, uh, were also opportunities for career into companies. The recruitment process started from the internal recruitment to give the chance for promotion and transfer for the present employees. In Japanese enterprises, the two of them declared that the internal recruitment are important. The big differences between two groups of companies was in amount of training and possibility to development the skills by employees, and also the result of survey research confirmed the differences in this area. In two cases of American enterprises, the efficiency of training is closely evaluated and more formalized than in Japanese organizations. In the differences in the reward system between American and Japanese companies was analyzed in four aspects: the basis for determining the wages, the benefits system, the role of line managers in determining remuneration, and the pay for performance. The American companies used to greater extent additional initiatives as well as base salary were more determined by performance rather than in Japanese companies. They use also very formalized appraisal system to develop results of individual employees, what is characteristic for human resource management in companies from the US. The role of line managers and their influence on wages, the employees, were also bigger in American enterprises, where line manager took part in performance appraisal and decided about the changes in wages or the level of additional benefits their employees. In contrast, in Japanese companies, the decisions are more concentrated in hands of higher managers. The analysis of differences in employees' relations consisted of three different aspects. First of all, it was internal communication. Second, scope and ways of participation, and importance of team or individual work. For example, the differences that are a reflection of differences in host country cultures are clearly visible in internal communication. In American companies, this communication is more open and relations are less hierarchical. They used the idea of open door. The CEOs have special days in the week when employees can come and speak freely about their problems. The employees and manager in American enterprises were very open, addressing each other by name. However, the results of survey research among employees indicates that the relationship also are seen as open in Japanese enterprises. It is due to the fact that Japanese managers working in Polish subsidiaries also with attention listened to the comments of employees, but the relation were more formal. From the other part, employees feel that the relation are equal because of organization of work. For example, the office space, which is organized accordance with Japanese rules. Open space where administration workers work together with managers, which emphasize egalitarian nature of Japanese management system. The opportunity to participation in decision making was more appreciated in American companies. It is due to the fact that American companies, in contrast to Japanese, had some formal system of suggestions which encourage employees to submit their comments or ideas of improvement. In Japanese enterprises, employees' relations were more cooperative and less competitive. In the contrast, in American companies, more important was individual achievement, create more competitive relationship between employees. What are the conclusions from conducted research? First of all, the research confirmed that the home country culture is the source of differences in human resource management practices between two groups of researched companies. Some of these differences may be explained by cultural diversity of home country culture, for example, highest level of employees training and pay for performance in American companies, as well as more collectivistic approach to work organization in Japanese subsidiaries. But the lack of use, the same typical for Japanese practices in human resource management in research companies, show that the importance of factors such as business strategy and reason for localization of enterprise in another country in implementing the solution from origin to host country. The two of research Japanese companies were focused primarily on reducing operating costs and economic effects resulting from the transfer of production to another country. Moreover, they operated in Poland significantly shorter than American companies and still were focused on development of production, what is connected with spending money. In consequence, in Japanese companies, the solution from the home country, which required spending a lot of money, weren't transferred to Polish companies. The studies are supportive of previous research on transfer of human resource management to subsidiaries. It provides an additional knowledge about the degree of implementation and the practices in Poland, relatively really studied country in cross-cultural research. This paper improves the understanding of complex process of implementing human resource management practices in subsidiaries located in Poland and made a contribution to the human resource literature from Polish perspectives. But the limitation of the study should also be noted. The limitation of the study are mainly concerned with qualitative character of research, which caused that the findings based on small sample. Also, the difficulties in obtaining the permission to research led to limited amount of case studies and surveyed employees, especially in case of Japanese companies. For future research, it would be helpful to extend the study on the other industries and other areas of management. More about the result of research could be found in the conference paper. Thank you for your attention.